With just 4 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Kevin Lekmanski has a best lap time of 1:17.287. Sketty posted a 1:18.216 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Simon of the Desert is on their practice out lap. Lechmansky posted 1:17.394 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Kyalami 1967 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. With just 1 minute left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Simon of the Desert is on their practice out lap. Lechmansky has a best lap time of 1:16.880. Sketty has a best lap time of 1:17.584. David posted a 1:17.112 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 1 minute left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Zahn posted 2:25.864 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Lechmansky has a best lap time of 1:16.880. Simon posted a 1:17.556 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Kyalami 1967 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. The engines are revving up, and the drivers are ready to hit the gas pedal for this qualifying session at Kyalami 1967.
I think there's a few drivers out there who have the pace to stick in on pole.
The adrenaline is pumping. Simon is on their outlap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused, while also pushing the limits.
It looks like Narwhal is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. This is where the mental game comes into play. Malero is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run. Narwhal is on their outlap. I don't think that's the fastest way around Kyalami 1967.
Kyalami 1967 is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
You can feel the tension building. Narwhal is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. The adrenaline is pumping. Dave is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
That won't be ideal for Simon. It looks like Dave is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Simon is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Narwhal is nailing both. Wow, look at Brent Owen go. They're really turning on the jets in this qualifying session. It's clear that Dave is on a mission in this qualifying session. They're pushing their car to the limit.
They certainly are. This is shaping up to be a great performance by Zahn.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification. Braking development. Looks like that's a mistake from Malero. This could be costly.
Malero is not going to be happy about that.
There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Woohoo, Malero is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. Looks like Simon of the Desert is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. Someone call the fire department because Malero is setting this track on fire with their performance.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horsepower can do, right, Hal? Malero is just showing us all what they're made of.
I don't know about you, but I think Zahn might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Woohoo, Narwhal is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just David Zahn going at lightning speed. Looks like Brent Owen is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. I don't know about you, but I think Narwhal might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Someone call the fire department because Brent Owen is setting this track on fire with their performance. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. Brent Owen looks to be off the pace. Sky, what do you think they need to do to improve?
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Jake is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Feimster handles it.
I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Malero going at lightning speed.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Malero is absolutely smashing it. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. I don't think that's the fastest way around Kyalami 1967. This is what it's all about. Feimster is putting on a show for the fans in this qualifying session.
Absolutely, Feimster is showing the world what they're made of.
Looks like David Zahn is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. Woohoo! Narwhal is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
I think we might need to start calling Narwhal the
Breaking update. Oh dear, Dave has had an incident. Someone call the fire department because Simon is setting this track on fire with their performance.
Well, Hal, it seems like Simon has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop them now.
I don't know about you, but I think Narwhal might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast.
Looks like Narwhal is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Looks like Simon of the Desert is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horsepower can do, right, Hal? Simon is just showing us all what they're made of.
I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Jake Feemster going at lightning speed.
I think we might need to start calling Jake Feemster the Flash after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Sky?
Currently in 6th, Simon has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. Kevin Lechmansky has positioned themselves well in 6th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
Absolutely, Hal. Lechmansky has put in a remarkable effort to secure 6th. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
And there goes Narwhal, currently in position 8. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Absolutely, Hal. Narwhal has shown great potential to secure 8th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
What an impressive performance from David Zahn. They are currently leading the pack in this qualification session, showing incredible pace and skill. It's a commanding position for them, and they have set the bar high for their competitors. Brent Owen has... Wait, looks like that's a mistake from Brent Owen. This could be costly. What a sublime effort by Zahn in qualifying. They have taken charge of the session, holding the top position with authority. Their consistency and skill have been unmatched so far, and they are positioning themselves for a favorable starting position. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Kyalami 1967, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The calm before the storm. I don't know about you, Hal, but I can't wait to see who comes out on top of this one.
David Zahn will be looking to convert his pole position into a win.
But he can't count his chickens before they hatch. There is a long way to go.
Coming in at second, we have Simon of the Desert. On the third grid slot, we have Malero. Watch out for Jake Feemster, starting from the fourth grid position in today's race. Brent Owen is fifth. Sitting in sixth is Kevin Lekmansky.
An opportunity for some good points today, but the others aren't going to make it easy.
Narwhal has qualified seventh.
But they're going to have to time their moves just right if they want to come out on top.
As the engines roar to life, Sketty prepares to take off from the eighth position on the starting grid. And they're off, with drivers now facing the unpredictability of the opening lap. With so many cars close together, the risk of an early accident is real.
Avoiding contact while trying to gain position is essential. The first lap is often where we see incidents that can change the course of the race.
Having started in one, Dave will be looking to establish themselves in this race. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial here.
I'm looking forward to this one, Hal, and we'll see a return to form for Narwhal in this outing in South Africa.
The racing is normally closely fought here at Kyalami 1967. I think we are in for a cracking race.
Like gladiators, they enter hell. But instead of lions and swords, our champions fight in an arena of tarmac, and with fire-breathing machines of cutting-edge materials, designed to explore the very limits of physics itself in what can sometimes be very much a fight to the death.
The battle for 5 is heating up as Jake tries to catch Lechmansky in P5.
The mental game is just as important here. Jake must keep their cool while putting pressure on Lechmansky.
Breaking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. It's an intense battle for position as Feemster tries to outmaneuver Narwhal. This is Edge Ev Your Seat Racing. The gap between Lechmansky and Malero is razor thin as they vie for third in this nail-biting contest.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jake Feemster trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Narwhal. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Jake Feemster close in enough to mount a challenge?
That's right. Feemster in 7th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Narwhal is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
The gap between Lechmansky and Sketty is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Lechmansky to bring Sketty into play.
That's very true. And Sketty knows that as well. They have to drive their own race and wait for Lechmansky to make a mistake if they want to have any chance of overtaking.
Sketty is running 5th. They are trying to catch Lechmansky. It seems like Sketty is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race. The tension is building as Malero trails behind David Zahn. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can David Zahn hold on, or will Malero be able to close them down?
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But David Zahn is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Malero in P3 doing everything they can to catch up.
We got a close battle as Sketty closes in on Kevin Lechmansky. It looks like we might get a battle between Sketty and Kevin Lechmansky. Hold that thought, hold the phone. I don't think that's the fastest way around Kyalami 1967. The gap between Lechmansky in 5th and Narwhal remains over a second, but Lechmansky is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 4 minutes?
It's going to be tough for Lechmansky, as Narwhal seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Lechmansky pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
As they speed through Sunset Bend, Feemster is relentlessly pursuing Lechmansky in a high-stakes battle for position.
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Feemster must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Malero, who is currently in P3. But David Zahn is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Malero. Looks like Jake Feemster is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Lechmansky is breathing down the neck of Jake, not giving them any room to relax. What a move. Kevin Lechmansky has moved up to 5th. It's a thrilling pursuit, as Feemster is right behind Kevin Lechmansky, keeping the pressure on for 5th place. It looks like Kevin Lechmansky is pulling away from Jake Feemster. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Clubhouse Bend. As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world, but you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
Lechmansky is in 5th, and is being closely chased by Feemster, who is just 0.2 seconds behind.
It's an intense race between these two drivers, and Feemster is going to have to try something here.
This is a tough break for Lechmansky. They've just lost P5 to Feemster, and they have their work cut out for them now. Braking alert. Oh dear, Malero has had an incident. The race is heating up as Malero in 6th closes in on Kevin Lechmansky. The gap is just over a second. and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The adrenaline is pumping as Lechmansky gets within striking distance of Feimster in their race for fourth.
It's a battle for position as Kevin Lechmansky tries to make a move on Jake Feimster. This is what racing is all about.
Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Jake Feimster in fourth and Lechmansky. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.3 seconds. The pressure is on for Lechmansky as they try to catch up to Jake.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Lechmansky close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happen at this point.
Narwhal wants to get into Jake Feimster's slipstream. Disappointing for Narwhal, they now find themselves in fifth. A brilliant maneuver from Narwhal, who has just moved up the field. Lechmansky wants to find a way round Narwhal. Things are getting spicy now, as Narwhal and Kevin Lechmansky look to battle it out for fourth place. Oh, this is getting intense. Kevin Lechmansky is just a few car lengths behind Narwhal. Lechmansky has just put in a faster lap than Narwhal, so that's going to give them something to worry about. Lechmansky is looking to take advantage of that arrow as they get in range of Narwhal. That's going to give them the pull they need to mount a challenge very soon. Narwhal has been served a big slice of Eat My Dust by Kevin Lechmansky. Hope they got their eating pants on.
That's right. They've got to stay focused and not let this setback affect their mindset. Meanwhile, Lechmansky is showing some incredible skill and determination, and is now a serious threat to the other drivers on the track.
This is not looking good for Narwhal. They've just lost fifth to Kevin Lechmansky, and their strategy seems to be failing them.
Absolutely. They need to rethink their approach and come up with something new, or they risk losing even more ground. On the other hand, Lechmansky has been making some impressive moves and looks like a serious contender.
It looks like Malero is pushing hard to catch up to Kevin Lechmansky. The gap is over a second, but Malero is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Kevin Lechmansky?
This is where experience comes into play. Kevin Lechmansky has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Malero is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the Titans?
While Kevin Lechmansky is not under immediate threat from Malero, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. Some great driving from Lechmansky, who has increased their lead over Malero and is starting to put some distance between them. Malero has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Lechmansky. I expect their only hope at this point is that Kevin makes an error.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
The gap between Malero and Kevin Lechmansky is growing. It's now up to 1.6 seconds.
It's not ideal for Malero, but they can still turn this around. They need to focus on their own driving and not let the gap get any bigger.
During your racing career, Sky, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tires due to tire degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Hal. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tire wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tires.
A solid performance from Zahn, who is holding down second.
Definitely, but they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Zahn has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Oh no, Sky, look at this. Jake Feemster is closing in on David Zahn. The gap is now just 1.9 seconds. I'm curious, Sky, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Hal. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals help me feel prepared and focused.
It's looking good for Lechmansky sitting in fourth. Well, it doesn't look like Narwhal is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Malero.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops, though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
Looking at the lap times, Narwhal is not on pace with Malero. Can they turn it around?
Can Narwhal turn this around?
It's a battle of wills out there, with Lechmansky trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Jake Feemster. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
Absolutely. Lechmansky in fourth will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Things are going according to plan for Zahn, who is currently second. Things are starting to get tense as Jake Feemster manages to close the gap to Dave. It's now down to 1.8 seconds. Three cars in perfect formation, creating a moving train on the circuit. They're using the slipstream to gain an advantage, but who will make the decisive move?
Absolutely thrilling, Hal. The level of car control these drivers possess is exceptional. They're towing the line between maximum speed and maintaining control, making for a captivating spectacle.
Malero is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Kevin Lechmansky to 0.4 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Feemster will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Things are heating up as Malero closes in on Lechmansky. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. Look at that, Jake Feemster is hot on the tail of Zahn. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
Big gains for Lechmansky as they move up the field, leaving Malero behind.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. An impressive showing from Malero, who has gained positions and left Kevin Lechmansky in the dust. Narwhal is giving it their all as they chase down Lechmansky in P5. Jake Feemster is on a mission, chasing Dave, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curves and pushing the car to its limits.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? Fantastic move from Narwhal, who has just gained a position.
That's what we like to see. Narwhal is really showing their class today.
A tough moment for Narwhal, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 6th.
That's got to hurt. Narwhal will be kicking themselves right now.
Oh my, Jake is hot on the tail of Zahn. As they come into Jake's sweep, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Narwhal must be laser focused on Kevin Lechmansky's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
This is a thrilling battle as Jake Feimster edges closer to Zahn in their fight for P2. The pursuit is on. Kevin Lechmansky is closing the gap on Narwhal, determined to claim P5. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
With just 0.4 seconds between them, will Jake be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
The gap between Feimster and David Zahn is getting smaller.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
Things don't seem to be going Lechmansky's way in this race. As that's a big gap, they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Lechmansky is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jake Feimster trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on David Zahn. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Jake Feimster close in enough to mount a challenge? It seems like Jake Feimster is struggling. Their last lap time wasn't as good as Zahn's.
It will be interesting to see if Zahn can keep outpacing Jake Feimster.
The gap between Malero in 4th and Jake Feimster remains over a second, but Malero is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 19 minutes?
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Malero in 4th determined to catch up. But we know Jake Feimster isn't just going to hand it to them on the plate. Malero is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Things are heating up as Jake tries to close the gap to Dave. It's not looking good for Feimster. They are still behind David Zahn, and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. It's all about consistency for Lechmansky, who is currently 6th. It's true, braking alert. Looks like that's a mistake from Kevin Lechmansky. This could be costly.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 11 kph out there right now.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Jake is chasing David Zahn in P2. It looks like Jake Feimster is making a move. The gap to David Zahn is now down to 0.1 seconds. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Feimster gaining places and David Zahn losing them.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Jake needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
And Zahn is having to make that ASRL_RSS_ formula _70 as wide as possible to try and keep Feimster behind them.
If Jake Feimster gets any closer to the back of Zahn, then one of them is going to need some lube if they want to take this further.
Jake wants to close that gap with Dave.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead from Malero, who is currently in P4. But Jake Feemster is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Malero.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Jake Feemster is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Malero in P4 doing everything they can to catch up.
Feemster is placed 4th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Malero, who is 0.8 seconds behind.
Absolutely right, Hal, and Malero knows that too. They have to keep driving at their best if they want to take advantage of any opportunity that comes their way.
The race is heating up as Narwhal in 3rd closes in on David Zahn. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Three cars, 3 different racing strategies. One driver is defending while the other 2 are relentlessly attacking. Who will come out on top?
Couldn't agree more, Hal. This wheel-to-wheel racing is what fans live for. The determination and tenacity shown by these drivers to gain even the smallest advantage is simply awe-inspiring.
Good news for Sketty, the gap to Jake Feemster has decreased. It's now down to 0.7 seconds.
This is what racing is all about. It's anyone's game at this point. Who will come out on top?
The gap between Sketty and Malero is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Sketty to even allow Malero to get a look in.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
It looks like Sketty is pushing hard to catch up to Jake Feemster. The gap is over a second, but Sketty is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Jake Feemster?
That's right, Sketty in 5th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Jake Feemster is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
On the final lap now, and Simon looks like they might just wrap up this win. The leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for Simon. Zahn takes 2nd place with a fantastic race.
Brilliant. Zahn showed great skill and determination to take 2nd place.
Excellent focus from Narwhal to secure a fantastic 3rd place on the podium. Taking 4th, 5th, and 6th is Jake Feemster, Sageti, and Malero. Kevin Lekmansky claims 7th. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Kyalami 1967, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Starting from pole position is the best possible outcome for Kevin Lekmansky.
The pressure's on now. Can he handle the heat and stay ahead of the pack?
Sitting in second, it's Malero. Sketty will begin the race from the third spot on the starting grid. Taking off from the fourth grid slot is the skilled driver Jake Feemster. And in the fifth position, it's none other than Narwhal.
The American driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Starting from the sixth position, David Zahn will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win. The seventh starting position belongs to Simon of the Desert, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
But they can't afford to be complacent. This is race day after all.
Brent Owen will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from 8th on the grid.
Who knows, they could be the dark horse that steals the show.
The lights go out, and we are off to a flying start.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is looking to get off to a good start. All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up.
I for one am really excited how. The rivalry between Feemster and Lekmansky has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage? Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
Let's hope they all brought their A games today.
It looks like we might get a battle between Brent Owen and David Zahn.
Exactly what Brent Owen needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to David Zahn.
And Brent Owen has just won the place from Zahn.
Absolutely. Brent Owen is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
Braking alert. That won't be ideal for Jake. This is where the race gets really interesting. Brent Owen is closing in on Zahn.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Brent Owen needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
It's all eyes on this battle, as Kevin Lekmanski in third tries to hold off the challenge of Simon. This is going to be a nail-biter. Malero is defending for their life, but Sketty is right there. Can they do it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Sketty to make up that gap, especially with Malero defending so well.
Looks like Sketty is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Sketty needs to stay patient and wait for Malero to make a mistake.
The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? Zahn is running fourth. They are trying to catch Lekmanski. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Whoops, Narwhal is going to be kicking themselves.
The intensity is off the charts as Zahn hounds Kevin Lekmanski, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Oh, this is getting intense. Brent Owen is just a few car lengths behind Simon.
Can Brent Owen close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass?
The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down Malero with everything they've got. This is what it's all about, folks. Zahn is in hot pursuit of Lekmanski, who's just trying to stay ahead. A great pass for Zahn as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Kevin Lekmanski has lost ground. A setback for Zahn, who has just been passed.
That's got to be frustrating. But Dave is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to battle their way back up the field.
It looks like Simon is all over Lekmanski. I think they are going to press them through Barbecue Bend and try and press for a mistake.
For sure, Hal, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as Lekmanski is going to be aware of them riding their bumper. Do they have the speed for a move, and more importantly, do they have the talent?
It's a game of inches now, as Lekmanski tails David Zahn closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. It's a challenging situation for Lekmanski. They're sandwiched between their fierce competitors, Simon 0.2 seconds away and David Zahn 0.2 seconds. Hold up, breaking info. I don't think that's the fastest way around Kyalami 1967. A strong showing from Dave, who is currently 7th. Oh, the pressure is intense. These three drivers are displaying incredible skill and determination. It's like a high-speed chess match out there.
You're absolutely right, Hal. The level of respect these drivers have for each other while pushing their limits is commendable. It's a testament to their professionalism and love for the sport.
The crowd is on their feet, roaring with excitement. It's an all-out war between these three drivers. Who will emerge victorious? Your guess is as good as mine. Hold up, breaking info. Looks like that's a mistake from Brent Owen. This could be costly. The tension is palpable. These drivers are showing tremendous respect for each other while going all out. It's a masterclass in clean, hard racing. Incredible. Zahn is caught in a fierce battle, with breathing down their neck 0.1 seconds away, and Narwhal just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a test of their racing skills.
You hit the nail on the head, Hal. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are crucial pieces of information for Dave's race strategy. It's a delicate dance, and they must remain vigilant.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Malero in second chases after Sketty. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Malero find a way to catch up?
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Malero tries to reel in Sketty. But Sketty is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Malero find some extra pace to bring the fight to Sketty?
This is wheel-to-wheel racing at its finest. The drivers are practically glued together as they fight for every inch of track. It's a battle you don't want to miss. The gap between Narwhal and David Zahn is widening. It's now up to 0.6 seconds. We are used to seeing some hard-fought but clean racing here at ASRL. I'm expecting to see nothing different here today as this race unfolds. It's a battle of wills out there, with Malero trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Sketty. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
Absolutely, Malero in second will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Hold your breath, folks. These drivers are showing exceptional car control, threading the needle through tight corners. It's a battle for supremacy. It's game on now. Narwhal has closed the gap to David Zahn. It's now down to 0.7 seconds.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
They are going to need to look after their tires, and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete and the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing, and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Malero trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Sketty. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Malero close in enough to mount a challenge?
This is where experience comes into play. Sketty has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Malero is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the Titans?
They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. Who will have the courage to outbrake the others? Narwhal needs to get more consistent. Sky, they have just put in a slower lap than Zahn. I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one can't wait to see what is coming next.
Apparently we are going to be announcing crashes and incidents soon. Let's hope they get the logic right. Malero has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap. With Sketty, I expect their only hope at this point is that Sketty makes an error. The gap between Malero and Sketty is getting smaller. What do you think, Sky? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Hal. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
This is what separates the best from the rest. These drivers are demonstrating their racecraft, searching for any weakness to exploit. It's a true test of skill.
Absolutely, Hal. The energy in the crowd is electric, and it's no wonder why. These drivers are leaving it all on the track, fighting tooth and nail for victory. It's anyone's guess who will come out on top.
Narwhal is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with David Zahn at the moment. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Malero will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Malero in second determined to catch up. But we know Sketty isn't just going to hand it to them on the plate. Malero is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Look at that, they're trading places in every turn, a constant game of cat and mouse. Each driver knows one mistake could cost them dearly. Looking at the lap times, Narwhal is not on pace with David Zahn. Can they turn it around?
Can Narwhal turn this around?
The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
Well, it doesn't look like Malero is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Sketty. It's not going to plan for Malero. They are still behind Sketty and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now.
Can he get it together and reduce the gap?
We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Sky, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
The tension is building as Narwhal trails behind David Zahn. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing and the pressure is mounting. Can David Zahn hold on, or will Narwhal be able to close them down?
It's going to be tough for Narwhal, as David Zahn seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Narwhal pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Malero, who is currently in P2, but Sketty is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Malero. The best laid plans of mice and men Sky, but it's certainly not going to plan for Malero right now, as they are struggling to keep up with Sketty.
Malero needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going their way. If they can close the gap down, they may be able to bring the fight to Sketty.
It looks like Narwhal is pushing hard to catch up to David Zahn. The gap is over a second, but Narwhal is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on David Zahn? Narwhal is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to David Zahn to 0.4 seconds. Anyone who says that ASRL is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Malero in second chases after Sketty. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Malero find a way to catch up?
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Sketty is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Malero in P2 doing everything they can to catch up.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Narwhal trying to outsmart and outmaneuver David Zahn. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? It looks like Narwhal is making a move. The gap to David Zahn is now down to 0.4 seconds. As a former racing driver, Sky, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Hal. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
The gap between Malero in second and Sketty remains over a second, but Malero is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 16 minutes?
That's right. Malero in second knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Sketty is no slouch and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Narwhal trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on David Zahn. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Narwhal close in enough to mount a challenge? It looks like we might get a battle between Narwhal and David Zahn. This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
Ha, that's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. The gap between Malero and Sketty is growing. It's now up to 1.0 seconds.
This is a frustrating situation for Malero, but they can't give up just yet. They need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Sketty.
And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Hal, it's always exciting to see these skilled machines on the tracks. I mean drivers, I always get them confused.
The pressure is on for Narwhal as they try to catch up to Zahn.
I think they are going to take them.
It's not looking good for Narwhal. They are still behind David Zahn, and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around.
This is where the mental toughness of Narwhal comes into play. They need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going their way.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Malero will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. The action is non-stop as Narwhal shadows David Zahn through every twist and turn, determined to claim sixth. It's looking good for Narwhal, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and David Zahn. The drivers are showing their mettle today. It's a privilege to witness their skill on this challenging track.
The stakes have never been higher. This is a battle of skill and nerves.
That's right. These drivers are really pushing themselves to the limit, and it's incredible to see the level of focus and determination they're bringing to the track.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage to compete at this level, and these drivers have it in spades. Let's hope they can keep it up and give us a race to remember.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for David Zahn, who is currently in P7. But Narwhal is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from David Zahn. It looks like Narwhal is pulling away from David Zahn. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through the S's. The tension is building as Feimster trails behind Simon of the Desert. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Simon of the Desert hold on, or will Jake Feimster be able to close them down? It seems like Jake is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace. It looks like Zahn is pushing hard to catch up to Narwhal. The gap is over a second, but Zahn is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Narwhal?
This is where experience comes into play. Narwhal has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Dave is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the Titans?
The race is heating up as Jake in fifth closes in on Simon of the Desert. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Feimster tries to reel in Simon of the Desert. But Simon of the Desert is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Jake Feimster find some extra pace to bring the fight to Simon?
It's a battle of wills out there, with Dave trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Narwhal. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? It's game on now. Zahn has closed the gap to Narwhal. It's now down to 1.0 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Feimster trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Simon of the Desert. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Jake Feimster close in enough to mount a challenge? The gap between Jake Feimster and Simon of the Desert is widening. It's now up to 2.8 seconds. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
Ha, I bet they were, but things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely. It's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Dave in sixth chases after Jake Feimster. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can David Zahn find a way to catch up?
It's going to be tough for David Zahn, as Jake Feimster seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen David Zahn pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Malero, as they have a big gap ahead of them to close at this point in time.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
This is where the true champions shine, and Sketty is certainly showing their class in the final sector. It's all over. Sketty has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
And that's why Sketty is one of the best in the business. A dominant display of driving from start to finish, leaving the rest of the pack in the dust.
What a drive from Malero, securing a great second-place finish.
Impressive performance. They pushed themselves to the limit for a fantastic second-place finish.
Impressive drive from Kevin Lechmansky to claim the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
Finishing fourth, fifth, and sixth is Simon of the Desert, Jake Feimster, and David Zahn.